Hey everybody, this is Chad Warren. It is Thursday, May 9th, 9:24 a.m. Central Time here in Hot Springs, Arkansas, USA. I hope you're well. This is my link tree if you want to find more information about what I'm up to. Check it out. I'll have the link in the description. The purpose of this video is to respond to a social media post. I am at Gab Social Media. This is a person who is new to my notifications named Hellpig. This is just me perusing social media, what caught my attention. Okay, so let me just try to do an overview of what I'm trying to do here. I'm going to show you this video of who I assume is some congressman who apparently had his legs blown off in a war, I presume. And he is one of these Zionists that is obviously satanic, because what would Jesus do? Not come into Congress as a congressman and say, our job's to wipe out every person in Gaza, right? And then you'll see him followed by this Jewish woman who is asking him questions in the lobby of Congress, and he says, "I don't believe anything you say." And so I am wanting us to be aware of what I see as these weaknesses of Christianity. Basically, they just want to point to the devil and Democrats and blame everything on them, and I'll get into that. You know, they act like there's nothing could be wrong with Christianity, like they do the same thing the Jews do. They just do it from the more passive side. Oh, Jesus is all loving. Oh. Anytime any of us can't handle a question that somebody else has, that's our weakness. You wouldn't debate that if you're watching a fight. Oh, he got clocked. He was open. He got his ass kicked. Okay? Well, evidently, the Jews can be chosen by God as his people and then not act right and then be kicked out. So we should just assume that's true for Christianity too. So you shouldn't walk around thinking, oh, everything's fine because I've given it up to God. It's just schizo. I'll get into that. But then I'm going to give thanks for this jump the shark moment where these Zionists are just bloodthirsty satanic, because it's going to, I feel all this stress because I grew up Christian, right? But I was exposed to different, I went to Catholic school to the 7th grade and then went to a Christian school, I went to an Assembly of God school with the speaking in tongues and all that. So I got that different perspective. So I noticed these inconsistencies, that's a joke, right? Christianity is not a monolithic thing. Any group is going to have this infinite diversity. So I just think that the collapse of everything is a blessing, because you see what really survives. These people are full of baloney talking about peace and talking about, that's why this Jewish woman is here interviewing this guy, saying, I was signed on board to the idea that when Israel got the state for them, that would mean there would be no more wars throughout the world. This is not an option to kill people that you disagree with. Because we know from looking back at history that doesn't solve a problem. And then specifically looking at medicine, this thing of like, we're going to do mRNA and we're going to bully, be Nazis on the level of biology, and then act like we're not Nazis at the level of Trump supporting COVID and all this stuff. No, you're Nazis there too. And what we learn in that biological level is the whole thing of antibiotics was a failure. Everything, the whole, you can either look at it like everything is falling into chaos and it's negative, or you could look at it like we were wrong. America and Christianity is all fucked up just like everything else. So, and walking around saying you're God's chosen people, get the fuck out of here. No. I know that y'all's group's going to continue to do that stuff, but I'm looking for the people that are not satisfied with just bitching and moaning like a bunch of losers on social media. So we're going to have to focus on implementing a version of America in a decentralized form in small groups that help us both on the most local level. I need to be more connected with the people in my city, in my neighborhood, because I live in the same area and I have the same interests, versus, yes, we do need to value our virtual network like I'm talking with you now, but that has to deliver on helping us both create win-win situations for us and our real lives through working together on a common project, right? And it needs to show results locally. So that's basically it. Let's go here. So I can't even understand this language. My people, a lot of emoticon laughter. Muzzy converts don't count. Demi scunt. A Muslim convert. I don't know who Demi scunt is. Shlomo Brian Mast. Well, obviously Jewish there, so let's see what we got here.
Now that Hamas has agreed to a ceasefire, do you think Israel should agree?
I think Israel should go in there and kick the shit out of them. Just absolutely destroy them, their infrastructure, level anything that they touch. Clear enough?
Congressman,
Okay, so the America that we have is the anti-Christ version of meritocracy and cooperation worldwide that we should rely on, because you cannot in seriousness claim to be walking in the path of Jesus Christ and have any association with this government and some person acting like life is a football game and you're going to go beat the shit out of people as if it's fucking Genghis Khan in the past, in a day when we have nuclear weapons. Not an option. These are incompatible. Incompatible. Any more than I could be a Christian pastor and help all these people in the daytime while I run a sex trafficking business at night. No, you cannot do that, obviously. So that's what I mean about we need to just let go of our respect and worship. This is a cult. This America patriotism is a cult.
the world is calling for a ceasefire. You used to say Hamas won't agree to a ceasefire. Hamas had just agreed. It was a proposal put forward by Egypt, Qatar. You know, CIA Director William Burns has been there
there's an American hell or somebody else being held, there should be every expectation that Americans come and kill them as well. If there's an American being held, you should go kill the people that are holding them.
Why are you so hateful?
It's not hateful.
It is, because my people are Palestinian. You're killing my people with our tax dollars. And you saying that
Those
everything
people shouldn't associate themselves with terrorists. They shouldn't vote terrorists into office like Hamas.
I want you to feel and think of the word terrorist as synonymous with the word nigger. I hope that upsets you, me saying that word. That's what the purpose of the word is, just like the word fuck you, right? And this is like where I would get into arguments with my stepmother, to where she would flip a lid about saying a curse word, but then act atrocious over here. That kind of Christianity, that can go fuck itself to death. Anyway, I lost my point there, but just that this is just ridiculous. I mean, if we know that Operation Gladio, and we know about all these false flags, we know that October 7th, with the paragliders flying over into Israel when supposedly they have an Iron Dome impenetrable missile shield, is bullshit. We know that both can't be true. If America was attacked on 9/11, then it's not able to defend itself. And it can't, because the enemy is within. And it's not just within the people at the top of the power pyramid. It's within our minds and our hearts and our actions. Paying taxes is, you may as well be paying monthly dues to a Satanism club.
Israel is the terrorist. Israel is the terrorist.
Martyrs Brigade, Lion's Den, Fatah, all those terrorist
We
organizations.
say to you every single time, the majority of people are children. They're the ones that are very...
Whoop. Yeah, so basically I would say by watching this is we need to totally retool what it means to be good, because I believe that the reason why Christianity is associated with a lamb is because Christians are created by these Sabbatean Frankists or Satanists or Kabbalists or Babylonians that took over the Jewish identity back in Babylon. Okay? And then modern Israel has nothing to do with the Israel in the Bible. The brand of Jew, that word, is total bullshit, because you've got Netanyahu, who is Polish. He's not even Jewish. You know, they are the ones that make all this big distinction between their race and their religion, but then Israel is dominated by atheists. So we're just dealing with a moment to where this is the test, this is the God cutting the cake, and the cookie is crumbling, so that it's going to become more and more obvious and impossible to keep this bullshit going. So that is the apocalypse. The veil is lifting. The emperor has no clothes. Okay? did a reply here. Oh, here it is. Maybe here it is. Let's see. Damn. Where did it go? Sort by... Yes, comments first. Okay, well, I don't see it, so where is it? Comments. Okay. That's bizarre. Like, didn't I just make this comment? That's what the whole point of this, huh? Okay, here it is. Here it is. I'm just going to read this. I'm so thankful this Israel crap is taking over America so obviously now, because Christians, Jews, Republicans, and Democrats that are for wiping out Gaza are obviously satanic. Jews and evangelicals want a Messiah for this earth, or I should say Zionists, because... Is that right? No, I think all Jews think their Messiah is still to come, but not all of them think that they have to go to Israel. That's what a Zionist is. Okay. So I should say Zionists and evangelicals want a Messiah for this earth and physical universe. But he already exists. His name is Lucifer, and the Bible says he runs the physical universe. Okay, so my general point of view is that religion or Christianity, which is the same as the other Abrahamic faiths, those are all, obviously, there's three of them, so they will cause this political turmoil that involves Israel running the world. That's the whole purpose of that being, you want a family feud. The Satanists are masters at taking some terrible thing and then, let's turn that into how we run the world. Let's get everybody caught up in a family feud, because our real struggle is not with other people, it's with our own behavior. You know, if you want to wrestle with God, as these Jews did, well, he's inside of us. I don't need to go, I don't need a Bible. Don't need a Bible. Don't need a Bible. Me looking any more than do I need this cell phone? You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Because, like, we're always schizophrenic. This is just normal behavior these days, where we know that we are becoming androids. That's why the phone is called an Android phone, because you're the Android with the phone. You know what I mean? Like, you just get all confused about you can't have two masters. You can't have two masters. America cannot protect itself as a nation if we're run by Israel. So you cannot be for President Trump when he is choosing that anti-Semitic hate speech laws trump free speech. You're against free speech if you're for Trump. You're for Lucifer if you're for Trump, because he is a Kabbalist, not my opinion. He speaks about it in his biography. You can see the award behind his desk from the Kabbalah group. They recently gave him a ginormous golden trophy. If you don't see that Donald Trump is going to do what Donald Trump does, then you are a fool. What does Donald Trump do? He takes a failed business, okay? And then he uses the ability to borrow money and do all these things with that business and then destroy the business. But he keeps the value and moves that on to his next investment. That's what he's doing with America. America is like Trump Steaks. It's some failed network marketing venture, right? That he is pretending to be the savior of America. The way that he acts like Jesus Christ is ridiculous. There you go. There's the schizophrenia. Yes, we do need to act like Jesus Christ, but literally fucking saying all these things where you're saying I'm the best thing since Jesus Christ. I'm not even. You see what I'm saying? I'm offended by that, and I don't even. I'm not even Christian. Like, I believe in God. I don't believe in any of these religions. And then the word God, well, that comes from the Middle Ages in Germany. That's just a word. The concept it represents is a creator. And then, like, he's not even a man in a throne. That's the whole purpose of Jesus coming to earth, is because God can't be in this physical world at all. So to me, that's like a huge. We could do so much better to explain these concepts for the next generation. And part of that is you cannot talk about Christianity, Islam, or Judaism without also learning about paganism, because they're interconnected, right? You got the color black. Well, it's relative to the color white. These are relative concepts. You get the picture? We can't be for any version of trying to defeat our opponent as if that's going to make the problem go away, right? It's just like being a pro fighter. If you beat one guy, well, then get in here next week. We're going to have you beat up another until you're so beaten up that you can't fight anymore. There's no winning. There's no completion, I should say, to that kind of a goal, okay? But yeah, that concept about Lucifer and how the Bible's telling you Lucifer is in charge of the physical world. So then it's like, why would you not think that Satan runs every government? You see what I'm saying? Is the most dangerous thing is not being able to distinguish the truth from fiction, right? You think you have a $100 bill, but it's a counterfeit, right? You put this black woman I saw today, it gave her a PhD, she's like head of medicine somewhere, and she can't even string together an effing sentence, and she's caught super duper plagiarizing at the UCLA College of Medicine. That's a fail. No God of love is for constant, passive, aggressive military conflict, which America has been caught up in for its entire existence. But these insane, materially ambitious types who got their fucking legs blown off in a war, like this representative, for banksters, who then goes to Congress and says he wants to eliminate a whole race of people. And then this is leading towards forcing the Bible to be labeled as hate speech, then the Kabbalist Zionist plan is to switch Jesus so that now Jesus like punished the Jews and they had to be in this weaker mode, but now that they're obviously dominant, then Jesus switches and becomes their advocate, like a lawyer for them to help them get into heaven, they believe, and then to punish America. These evangelicals and Zionists openly say that the plan is to sacrifice America as symbolically representing Edom. And that is a Holocaust. Is a Holocaust a word and a behavior that Hitler and the Nazis invented? No. A Holocaust is a Jewish concept. And that goes back to the reason the lamb is associated with Christianity is because they and the Jews and the Muslims and all this includes all the Gnostic New Age and the Scientism and whatever, all groups are all the same in that they are scam versions of themselves, so that if you are a Christian, you are a lamb led to the slaughter. So just like Christians want to threaten me with eternal damnation in hell, I'm threatening you that it's not just my opinion. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are going to be weighing stuff that we thought was pretty foundational, our relationship with God and our relationship with America, because of this. So here's some examples of that. Because of the internet and the seriousness of all this, more and more people are going to go, hey, that's a good point. America proves that one cannot have two masters. Like I said before, you can't be Christian but also pledge allegiance to the flag. That is a Luciferian, that's Freemasonry, just like in Boy Scouts and all that. You're not supposed to swear on a Bible in court. It says that right in if you read the Gospel of Matthew, right at the beginning, it says you're not supposed to be swearing any oaths. That is just, that's why we're schizophrenic. If you have a system of police and military and government authority and these titles, that is still, we're still not far enough away from the kings and queens system of Europe. All that America is a company. That's why it has a president, right? It makes sense that you can represent, like Elon Musk is the man, is the brand of Tesla just as much as the cars and the SpaceX, right? That makes sense. There's one leader of a company. It's a pyramid structure. Again, so just like we're confused in Christianity about what does that really mean if Lucifer is in control of the whole physical world? Obviously, that would affect our government. So too, what was I saying about the Christians need to examine how can you have one person representing a nation and then saying, in God we trust. There you go. This is just insane. Obviously, it was Freemasons that did the Founding Fathers thing. Those were not Christians. meaning that they had worldly ambitions and the structure to pull it off. So there you go. This is all coming together now. I'm over here complaining that Christianity talks a big talk, but when you look at the actual, what it produces, I don't think it's really better than any group that decides to do a volunteer program. You know what I mean? When I look at the best of what I see in Christianity, it's like what happened to me recently. I was down on my luck. I just moved to town and was renting a place for the first time. I've been homeless for years, kind of half by choice, and living out in the forest and stuff. But my friend Mason mentioned this Methodist church downtown, and we went there and were given food. And so I really did feel that all of us, the people helping and me being helped, were there for the right reasons. And I felt really, I felt really good at that moment about that the church was doing the kind of things that I'm always talking about doing. But again, those are volunteer programs, right? Which anybody could have a potluck or go pick up trash or whatever. So, but you can see that you have this dichotomy where you have these people that are like, I'm Christian, I just give everything up to God, but I vote and pay taxes and get all involved in politics and war. And that whole world of government and war is satanic. End of discussion. End of discussion. We need true conservatism, which is no, I will not participate. Will not participate. Because people want to point to the Amish. Oh, no, you're wrong, Chad. You don't need to argue with Caesar. You need to go pay your taxes and then have your little private community to do whatever you want to do, and that's as good as we can do. Well, is it? I mean, because aren't the Amish people having two masters? They're just as responsible for the genocide in Gaza as I am, or you are, just by virtue of being citizens of the United States. And it's really irrelevant to say, well, you can't really fight the man, he's too powerful, you have to give in and accept this compromise. So the pagans, the Jews, they are, I'm gonna fucking kill you, right? And Jesus is supposed to be this like Neo-Matrix master or something, where he's, you know, using the power of love to win. Well, when I said the biggest problem is we can't distinguish the real thing from the fake thing, how do you tell the difference between, I do get the idea that we should give everything up to God, which that's just a word to represent this source from which we come, which is where our thoughts and feelings are coming from, some spiritual world through this meat suit. I'm basically just saying that I don't think that me taking this independent libertarian new agey approach, if you want to label it something, is really any less virtuous than these Christians, or specifically, you know, the whole problem with the God religion thing is that the Jews proved that the laws became too too strict, and that this priest class was abusing that power. And then, of course, the whole Judaism came into being as these Sumerians split off from Sumeria into their own people based around this one God idea, which had already been done with Zoroastrianism. So, I'm just gonna let go of that and just say that I think that I can be understood by people that see themselves more as Christian, whereas I'm with God. The rest of this, I dismiss the Gnosticism stuff as easily as I do the Christianity I grew up with. You just see the same problems everywhere, and it's that democracy worked in Greece with a very small group of people, and then when you get too many people, the system becomes more against the will of the people than for it, which is why today all around the world in democracies or republics or whatever you want to call it, only 1% of legislation is actually put there by the will of the people versus the will of the rich few through lobbies. So, like I was saying, all the Christians that are going to court swearing on a Bible, that's easily, you can read that is against the rules, right? And then I resist the more Catholic point of view, which is very rigid. They believe that they have the truth as it exactly was from Jesus, and it's all about these rules, and you have to say your prayers this many times a day. You see what I'm saying? It's pseudo-pagan, which is why they get involved with these wars, and the Pope has all this gold, and he was who assisted the Nazis in moving the Jews to Israel. But I would say that every group, even these Satanists, can teach us. And I think that if we all come from God, then we do have to have some amount of space to accept this schizophrenic life experience that explains how could God in any way be involved in all of this evil, right? And then the dangers of forgiveness. I see the positive virtue of that is that you don't want people to feel like there is no hope for them, whether it's like they're homeless or addicted to drugs or they're having a spiritual crisis, so then they feel that they have to commit suicide, that there's no purpose to keep on living, stuff like that. You want to reform and recycle and reuse stuff if possible. People, material. So we can help by admitting we have been wrong this whole time about the goal of America. The purpose of America was to make it appear better here so the rest of the world would want to copy us, and they did. And so we now have international trade and Hollywood media and the internet worldwide. Now that that's done, America is to be sacrificed as a Holocaust, just like Nazi Germany. The Nazis and Zionists are the same people. If you don't believe me, If that offends you, take it from a Jewish American, Edwin Black, who wrote The Transfer Agreement, where he explains, literally hearing the discussion of elders when he was a child in hushed tones about the uncomfortable truth that it was this minority of National Socialists that bullied the German people. It was a minority of Zionists who bullied their Jewish brothers and sisters, and those two minorities teamed up to become a majority over, well, how would you say that? It's not a numerical majority, but from this satanic, subversive, we're actually running things behind the scenes technique, they forced the majority of Germans and Jews into this to be sacrificed. My suggestion is that we remove the values we still respect, like freedom of speech and a right to self-defense, out of the Constitution and transfer them to small local groups of 12 that become a decentralized form of cooperation to replace this worldwide, to replace governments worldwide, so it allows locals to decide what group actions to participate in and which ones not to. I would ensure this system is able to run with or without tech. And so I think that it's likely that they will cut off the power in the internet, at least to, us goys. But that we've had this experience of social media, which I believe is designed to be the replacement for government, right? So even if they took it away, we've already gotten used to this more direct virtual community organization via the media, which is information about topics, and then we find the topics that we agree on, and then you go out and work on that. So I do believe that God is working through all this, and a lot of these things that seem like the greatest evil are actually a virtue, and a lot of the things that seem like a virtue are our greatest sin. So really, I think we should see America dying as like in that scene, that's kind of going to sound weird, but in that scene of Prometheus, where the guy comes to Earth or whatever, and he takes that vial that like kills him, but then it spreads the seed of himself throughout the whole biology of Earth. I think we should see this like, put the Constitution in your mind as an idea. Imagine taking the Constitution, having the Ark of the Covenant, open it up, sticking it in there, close the box, and we just take it out of Congress. We're taking our government and our faith in God out of this broken temple of America, and then it's now on a decentralized way from the ground up. Is spreading around the world, and not just from America out, but all over the world, because we're already, right, all the rest of the world, they pay attention more to what happens in America than what happens in their own country, because they know that they're second fiddle. And then see, like, if you looked at England before and after America, did the British nation really lose? No, it didn't. They formed America and Australia and all these crown corporate colonies that are companies. This is a corporation that's run by the Queen of England, and all of that stuff is British Zionism. Those two, for the British crown is based on this idea that they are the bloodline of Jesus, that he was a physical man and he had siblings and those people are still alive. And then I think like the Muslims have the same thing. There's people that believe they're descendants from this Muhammad. Yeah, and as soon as you're talking about bloodlines, like the Mormons do, with all tracing their genealogy, you're pagan and you're for this world and you're for Lucifer, because that's the whole purpose of Jesus, is to be like, all this stuff you have here on earth, it's shit. You want the plus ultra. And all of that is about realizing that you have this tremendous power. So we need to stop looking to people like Donald Trump, these masters, and start looking here in town. Let's say you were a Trump supporter. I thought this back when he was president. I hate those hats. First of all, that is what Hitler ran. Trump is a copy of Hitler to the T. To the T. Hitler did not start off by saying how much he hated the Jews and blaming everything on the Jews. Did not. He first started focusing on making Germany great again. Sound familiar? And then it ended up with the final solution with the Jew thing, just like Trump is like, okay, now anybody that questions Israel, which includes the Bible, or your interpretation of the Bible, you will be labeled as an enemy to America, an enemy to Yahweh, and you will be killed. He's threatened to kill you. You. So, when America started, it made sense to vote for reps, since only wealthy, male, white landowners could vote. But now, some 16-year-old kid, like we see on these podcasts, could do more good than these misleaders in Congress representing us, right? And the only thing that we need in order to achieve this cooperative system is for you to respect yourself, for you to respect me, for me to respect you, and then that is materially evident. If you like my post, if you share it, if we work together on a project, and vice versa, that is spirit science. You gotta put the two together. Everything's relative. If you're just working on one without the other, then you are a Luciferian. And you have been turned into a slave by, just like these Hollywood celebrities. They want to become a celebrity, so they get money and they get sex and all these things, right? But you'd have to close one eye and ignore that we know that the majority of people that even get into that level of becoming a pro ball player or a celebrity or a politician are obviously not any happier or more successful or better people than somebody working at the goddamn Sonic down the street. That we cannot have any of this hierarchy of people better than you. We're God's chosen people. We're America. And the rest of you are goy. slaves to be conquered. No. Yes, you should have a meritocracy. Yes, you should have, we can, just like you play football, which we don't even do anymore, at the park with strangers. You'd have to figure out who is good at what position, put them in that position. You're going to have both one person in charge, the quarterback. You're going to have all this communication in the huddle, all the supporting people. So it's not, I think we should be more open in trying to make it as open as possible for anybody to participate. But then on the outcome end, right, we need to make it be but we got to achieve these goals, and then let those two forces balance each other out between the democracy allowing those people to participate and the republic have the best people be in charge, and get rid of the democracy and the republic by forming a cooperation. This is my symbol for everything. Everything is God. God is the circle. But if you were to zoom in to the line that is the circle, right, you would see it's a whole bunch of dots, dot, 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 like on the check when you write on the line. But if you zoom in, they're dotted lines, and that's like a security feature, so you can't copy somebody else's check. That is very telling. That is the design of the universe. From a distance, it's one thing, God. You zoom in, and you get all and then of course we're only seeing and experiencing a very teeny tiny infinitesimal thing in the whole universe of physicality compared to this non-physical world. Which we can understand that non-physical world through spirituality and through science. Spirituality and science, this is the problem. We've been given everything we need as individuals and as all of humanity within the sphere of life, but we don't appreciate what we have. We are our greatest enemy and best ally. The currency of now is our ability to self-organize to solve problems. Do you want to keep on watching alternative media, or do you want to take action on what you feel and what you think? I want to take action. So we need to incorporate action into this social media space. We need to get into teams, focus on goals, and fight with each other like you would do if you were making a fucking movie or running a fine dining restaurant. Good Lord, the amount of cocaine that some chef is doing and the amount of arguing that goes on in your favorite restaurant in that kitchen, it's just may as well be ditch over in Ukraine with fighting men and women. That's why if you can run a kitchen, that's like being in the military. The elites don't need us, and we don't need them because of tech. And our understanding that here we are in 2024, and we can see that this America project died a long time ago and needs to be reformed. So, both with tech and your consciousness, awareness, your spirit, one person can now do what it took 1,000 to do. You had the Industrial Revolution where you get backhoes and all this stuff, so machines were able to copy the physical movement functions of people. And then you had the computer age, so now they can copy the intellectual aspect. And then the more that they get those two running, then emotion and consciousness is going to derive from artificial intelligence. So if we can still be Americans at heart, and then that is now a universal value, because if you talk to people from Africa or Afghanistan on social media, they still believe in America as where they would rather be, so they can have more money and, you know, have a higher quality of life, so they think. So we should be able to show that different groups can and should be able to work together despite our differences. And we don't force our beliefs on others, nor do we ostracize people totally unless it's the last choice. I'm hopeful to have a conversation with John Brisson of We've Read the Documents, because he is somebody who has been Gnostic for a long time and has converted to Christianity. So I expressed a desire to have a discussion about how can we move together in the spirit of Christ, in the spirit of America, in cooperation, because we have a lot of things that we agree on despite these differences. Hold on, I'll be right back. Christ is inside us. So we need to love and respect ourselves as his representatives here on earth. And again, we need to do the flipperoo, because there is a video, and it shows this like most prestigious Kabbalah school. And this rabbi is teaching, and he's telling these young Jews that they are sent here from another dimension into this earth and physical world to take it over in the name of their God. And all of us are, you know, like the way liberals view Africans, you know, oh, we're going to help the poor little people. They're not as good as us, and we're going to make them better. You see what I mean? Lucifer and Jesus are so similar, and they're both referred to as the morning star in the Bible. Because, again, people can't tell the difference often between these two things. I'm okay with the idea of becoming better by connecting ourselves to God in good, and cutting off the poison and the evil. But to claim that you are superior to all the other people on the face of the earth because you're God's chosen people? No. That is Israel. That is World War III. That is the devil. You see what I'm saying? How that's what it's so close yet so far away. We are Christ's representatives here on earth, and really, I want to devalue this whole, because what's the difference between saying I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, right, and somebody going, I accept Jesus Christ as my Savior? Is this a magic fucking spell? Or is it the words? Is it your intent? Is that unlocks the key and then Christ lets you in the kingdom of heaven because you just said this magical phrase? Bullshit. What have you done for yourself and Christ in you lately? We are not here to create and obey man's laws, including the United States Freemasonic Constitution cult and the Holy Bible. We're here to fulfill God's promise by acting like Jesus, because he said we'll do all he did and more. And it's like the man of whether or not there was a real Jesus is irrelevant, because obviously just the story of this man has had a tremendous impact on the world, just like the Apple computer. Right? You see what I'm saying? That's reality. You know what I mean? We don't want technology taking over, but we're using smartphones and we're trying to negotiate that. That's pragmatic. That's reality. It's tough. That's the nitty gritty. It's not clear. But yes, I think that the training wheels, I do believe in both an evolution in human behavior. I think that the story of Jesus as this man who was a spiritual king, and his sword that forced people to bow to him is love in your behavior and your actions. And self-evidence is the key. We hold these truths to be self-evident. That's how the Declaration of Independence starts. Well, I'm relying on, I think that I have faith in Christ and you, that we can recognize these truths to be self-evident, and that you could take that Constitution and that Bible and shove it up your fucking ass. That's not important. See, Christianity took the place of God in heaven. So it said what I just said to Judaism. It says, I appreciate that you tried to create this legal structure of interpreting what God's will is as these rabbis and whatever. But that ain't working. And so the Jews split between the ones that were glad they crucified Jesus and chose Barabbas versus the renegades that chose a spiritual king. And I think that me telling Christians, just knocking down their faith and attacking it, I am like those early Christians before it got turned into shit. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm not all messed up too, but I mean, it's the difference between somebody respecting a beautiful cathedral in Salt Lake City, Utah, versus having the same reverence for a blade of grass or the person you just walked past and smiled to. That's it. I'm sorry it took so long to get all of this out. So in review, I started by focusing on this representative. He's obviously full of hate. He represents Israel, that is a nation formed for the purpose of ending genocide and ending world wars forever for all people by giving the Jews their own nation, just like in the Bible, the innkeeper lets Mary and Joseph go sleep out in the barn. And out of meager beginnings comes this great kingdom. I focused on respecting that all these scary, evil things are just as much a part of God and good, and what we should use to form a more valid, mutual respect, cooperative meritocracy. Because even in the Bible, Satan's in the Bible, that they're connected. And you're not going to make any progress by denying these facts. And then these are just changes in interpretation. Same information, new way to look at it. Obviously, more people all over the world can see that Israel is not operating as it was advertised. And that is actually a great benefit, and it's terrible that these Palestinians, just fellow humans, are being murdered over there, and that Israel is attacking their own people with Hamas, which is Mossad and the CIA, just like Al Qaeda. So both the good people and the bad people are on both sides of the equation. And that I want help from you if you value this idea of putting the U.S. Constitution into the Ark of the Covenant as a symbol and removing that from America in Zionism. And helping me form a cooperative protocol to transform social media into a grade A waste of time into a replacement for government, for public school, everything. Please give me your feedback. Think of a project that you want to work on, that you want me to help with, and vice versa. How can we popularize this activism element that we add on to the social media protocol so that it's already designed that you push the button when you want to buy something or you want to watch the video. Well, there needs to be a button to push at the end of every one of these posts. Okay, take action. And then here's how you take action. Go meet up with these people, pick up trash in the park. Boom. The moment that we get back to voluntarily doing things versus revolving around the news cycle is the day that we become more godlike, more entrepreneurial, more creative, artistic, less consumer, less slave-like, less codependent. Because you could be super wealthy, conservative, and you've got this fine family, but if you depend on Walmart or Kroger to get your food, then you're fucked. Doesn't take much to, make you beg for mercy, just as if I just walked into your beautiful mansion and put a gun to your head. Give me your money. Give me your wife. Or give me your life. So give your life to the Christ in you, in us. Let us take the place of the U.S. Booyaka.